I hated Gantz the first time I read it. I thought it was complete trash, but I recently reread it and my opinion has changed. So when I first heard of Gantz, my friend recommended it to me. He told me he was reading it and he really enjoyed it a lot. And I thought I would check it out too because of how he described it, how it has a lot of really good action, how it's a long battle manga basically. It was thinking it'd be something I would really love. Before that, I read manga such as Berserk and I read some of Claymore but never finished it and really liked what I got from those. So I went in thinking that I'd get something like that also in Gantz. When I went into Gantz and read it for the first time, I hated it. I hated Kurono. I thought he was whiny. I thought he was so annoying. And for the entire story, he wasn't likable to me at all. I thought a lot of the other characters, they just didn't seem really important whatsoever. A lot of them would come and go since so many people die in the series, and I just found them to be kind of stale and very shallow, not having much depth behind them whatsoever. The one character who I tolerated was Kato, but I remember that I was thinking, okay, maybe if I just keep reading it, I think I'll like it more. I read all 383 chapters and I left pretty unsatisfied. I was thinking of it maybe like being like a 5 out of 10 score wise for me, just because I really did not like the characters. The action, I thought it was okay, but I was so disinterested with the story that I didn't really even care for it. I hated how the characters talked as well. It seemed very weird how they talked, and it wasn't something that I was used to reading manga at the time or any kind of medium. It just felt very strange, and I thought the village people, I thought the people, the background characters, the town city folk were acting very mean spirited, and they were pretty stupid. And I think that just on top of like how the pacing of the story was stuff, it just all added up to me really not liking the series. But I was getting into manga again ever since the lockdown occurred. Was rereading some older manga, was checking out some new manga, and I came across a YouTuber called The Prom G, and I was watching some of his videos, and I found out his favorite series was Gantz. And when he said that, I was so confused. I just remembering how I did not like it, and also remembering how I was so perplexed that so many people loved this series. I just didn't understand why they did. But after seeing his videos of him expressing how much he loves the series, how much he holds it in high regard, and me reading a lot more manga that I have since I first read Gantz, I figured, okay, I'll give it another shot. So I just finished rereading all 383 chapters again. My opinion of it has changed drastically. I really liked it this time around, and I think it is just because I went into it with a more open mindset than I did previously. Like I said earlier, I previously went into it only experiencing manga like Berserk and Claymore, where it's like these big, strong, deep, depressing characters who were kind of very serious a lot of the time. We saw them and everyone around them acted very mature and serious. But in Gantz, a lot of them are very whiny. A lot of them are very annoying with how they scream. And a lot of them don't even have that much character development at all. But this time it didn't bother me whatsoever. I really liked Kurono this time around. And I think he's probably one of the best developed protagonists I have seen in a manga or an anime. In the beginning, he's supposed to be very unlikable. He's actually, I can see how I didn't like him the first time reading the entire series. I can see why people don't like him. He's not this mature character like Guts. He's a horny teenage boy, and he's our protagonist. And that's the thing with Gantz, is a lot of these people are just normal, everyday people. They're not someone who can wield a dragon slayer or such, a thing like that. Although the Gantz guns they wield and the swords are actually amazing. But yeah, this time around, I really did like Kurono and his development. He started off being whiny, but this time it really didn't bother me that much in the beginning. And his development after the Buddha arc, how it was a big change in his life. From there onward, I think he has some of the best development that I've ever seen in a manga or in an anime. He becomes very, very likable in my opinion from that point onward. He tries to idolize himself off of Kato, and he tries to make himself a better person and tries to make it so that every time that they start a mission that everybody can come back, that everybody can survive. And he really does take a role of a leader. He really grows a lot. He grows how to care about people. He gets a girlfriend who doesn't look the most attractive, but is someone who he really cares about and loves very much, that even when the model Reika, when she eventually tries to fall for him, he doesn't take it. And it's such a huge change how in the beginning he only liked Kishimoto, where he barely even knew anything about her, but he only liked her because of her appearance. But he's really changed since then, and I think just his leadership and how he interacts with people, and his fight scenes, of course, with the aliens, which are incredible, made me really, really like him this time around. I also really appreciated the fights a lot more. When I first read Gantz, I would just read the missions and the fights and be like, okay. And I think the reason why I wasn't super crazy about them was just because I wasn't crazy about the story and the characters that I listed earlier. But this time around reading, a lot of the arcs are very, very good. I think Catastrophe is probably one of the best arcs I've ever read in a manga. That is incredible. The artwork in that is insane. The action is awesome. And the characters and the things that they do in that arc are just amazing. And I want to get more into the characters as well. So while I still don't think the characters have that much depth to them, I really appreciate them a lot more. Reika is honestly amazing. I know a lot of people say that she can be selfish and she can kind of suck, but there are a lot of things in the manga that she does that really disprove that. And I think that she is a really good character. Same with the old man, same with Kato, and same with Izumi. Even though that Izumi is a pretty evil bastard, I really liked his character. The artwork, too, I want to talk about as well. In the beginning, the artwork isn't anything amazing, in my opinion. It has some very good panels at times. What comes to mind is the Buddha arc, where how the statues were designed for that looked really interesting. The action that took place in that arc was very well done. The Oni arc looked beautiful. The Osaka arc was really good as well with Kato. Yeah, characters around this time, too, were just... I like them a lot more, and I think just because of me liking a lot of these things more, it helped me appreciate other parts that I just wasn't able to at the time. And like I said as well, me having just a lot more experience reading a lot more different types of manga, I think really helped with me enjoying Gantz a lot more than I previously did. And Gantz's story, while it can be paced very, very fast, like for most of it, I still think is really good. I still think I can appreciate and enjoy a lot more now than I did back then. Back then I was used to more slower, drawn out, very dialogue heavy mangas. But with Gantz, you can read honestly all of Gantz probably in 2 days if you spend the time, because that's how fast it is to read the series. But I think honestly now for something like that, the pacing is really good. I think my only complaints that I still have with this manga are that the dialogue between characters still kind of sucks and still sounds kind of off. It barely hurts my enjoyment, but it was just kind of weird reading certain scenes. And the townspeople are still pretty stupid and very mean-spirited. It actually kind of reminds me of how modern SpongeBob is with the modern Bikini Bottomites and how they're just assholes because... But other than that, I really don't have any big complaints about Gantz. I would probably give it now, jumping from a 5 out of 10 to an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it this time around. I would pick it up physical. I read the scanlations, but the only cost-effective way I can buy this series is the omnibuses. But they're very, very fat books with very thin spines. And me buying a Dark Horse omnibus before, the spine just became very, very bad after reading it only like twice. So I don't think I'm going to get the omnibuses. And the only other legal way I can purchase is the singles, which are expensive as crap to get the entire set for. So I'm hoping that we can get something like a hardcover, like a deluxe hardcover edition, like how Hellsing and Berserk are. But I would definitely buy that if it comes out. I would definitely purchase it in that format if it comes out, because I really, really enjoyed Gantz this time around. All it took was for me to do a reread to completely change my view on a lot of things in the manga. And I think just to have more experience and have a more open mindset about what this manga offers, and just to go in not expecting something like Berserk. But Gantz, I'd say, is probably one of the most fun manga I've ever read. Okay, guys, thank you for watching the video, though. Please sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, I'm just going to say Kishimoto deserved better. I really wish she was in the story more.